Okay, Councilman McDonald and Mayor Flynn, are you ready?
Yes.
I am.
Okay, thanks. Good morning, guys. Good morning. I'd like to call the Oxnard Public Works and Transportation Committee to order. The roll call, the posting of the agenda, and the flag salute, please. And take it away, Ms. City Clerk, Ms. Sencho.
Member Flynn.
Present.
Member McDonald.
Here.
Chair Perrello.
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum, and the agenda for this meeting was posted in the City Hall kiosk on Wednesday, May 6th.
Okay, Councilman McDonald, would you lead us in the flag salute? And I'd just like to make an announcement. We have a new member in the world as of a couple days ago, Rafe Chance Roselle, grandson for City Attorney, Mr. Ken Roselle. I'd like to welcome him to the world. And we can all stand for the pledge, please.
Please join me in saluting the flag of our nation by placing your hand over your heart and saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have not received any public comments. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments for items not on the agenda?
No, we haven't received any requests for anything on this agenda.
Thank you very much. Moving down to the consent agenda, the City Clerk Department, the subject is the approval of the minutes. If the City Clerk could read the recommendation, please.
That the Public Works and Transportation Committee approve the minutes of the April 28th, 2020 regular meeting as presented.
Do I have any action by the members of the committee?
Mr. Chair, if there's no comments or changes, I'd move approval.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Member Flynn.
Aye.
Member McDonald.
Aye.
Chair Perrello.
Yes.
The motion to approve carries 3-0.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sencho. Moving to item D, D1, Public Works Department. Subject, agreement A-8213 with Vertec Industrial Systems, LLC for on-call supervisorial control and data acquisition systems, commonly referred to as SCADA, support services. If we could have staff read the recommendation, please, and the presentation.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Chair, committees. My name is Tian Eng. I'm the Assistant Public Works Director. This morning, we bring forward an agreement A-8213 with Vertex Inc. for supervisory control and data acquisition system, short name called SCADA support services. The recommendation is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute agreement A-8213 with Vertec Inc. for on-call supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA, support services for the water, wastewater, and recycled water system in the amount of $900,000 through June 2nd, 2023. So in December of last year, the Public Works Department released a qualification package seeking SCADA services help. And the RFP closed this year, January 22nd. The city received 2 responsive bids. One of them are pro users and the other one is Vertec. The Water and Wastewater Division staff, including both division managers, maintenance managers, and operations managers, both selected Vertec as the most qualified bidder. SCADA systems are complex. They're communication system. They run our water, wastewater, and recycle water treatment system. They're critical to our daily operations because computer can run it so much faster than a human being. So we rely on them to monitor, to control things such as valve, pumps, motors, and other critical functions. So for example, water, if you're looking at the asset here, so such as, we have a reverse osmosis desalter plant, and we have water wells, we have chemical feed system, we have blending stations, we have pressure sensors, we have reservoirs, and all those things are monitored by the computer. So basically is the computer SCADA system will pull information, for example, a level of the tank, your chemical dosage, they can pull it, monitor it, reading it multiple times per second, much faster than human being. So then if you look at wastewater, we have a treatment plant, and then we also have 15 sewer lift stations. For recycled water, we have an advanced recycled water treatment plant, AWPF, and then we also have 12 miles of pipeline that the system pressure is also being monitored. So for this SCADA services help is that for this fiscal year, each division's group here will budget for $100,000 each, and then for the remaining amount, we'll budget subsequently for the future fiscal year. So that's conclude my presentations, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Madam Clerk, I do not see any public comments on this. Do we have any comments on this item?
No, we don't.
Okay. Committee members, do you have any questions or
I
comments?
just have one if it's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Just more out of curiosity than anything else for my own edification. Do we have, because this appears to be primarily a software system that runs on a particular piece of computer equipment, do we have a backup computer system with the same software that were there to be a catastrophic failure of our primary CPU that we could switch over to a secondary system to keep things running?
Good question.
Mr. Chair, Councilman Perillo, yes, each critical control system, we have a mirror basically run off the same software system. If one side fell, you can switch off the other system. But it still need the same type of services to maintain it.
No, I'm fine with the services. I think it makes sense. I just want to make sure that, computers are excellent tools, but periodically they crash and burn. So I want to make sure that we have a secondary system in place so that if something were to go wrong, that we can switch over to a backup system.
Mr. NG, you mentioned that there was a mirror. Is there actually if the computer crashes and burns, is there actually something else we would go to?
So, Mr. Chair, so basically what it is, let's pick a stations that you control. Let's say a lift stations. So you would normally build a mirror image of those. And then both, on a normal day, they're both operating. The computer software will give, say, the lead control will have the authorizations to take all the information, but the backup, you would just leave it alone. But then you can switch them if there's something happened to your lead control.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, the short answer to my question would have been yes, so that's fine. That's
Okay.
what I needed.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, I didn't. Thank you, Councilman McDonald. Mayor Flynn, do you have a comment or question, concern? Mayor Flynn?
Sorry, my microphone was on blank. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. I have a couple of questions, Mr. NG, and thank you very much for the presentation. The SCADA systems that we have on the staff report, page 5 and 6, there are extensive numbers of SCADA. Are they all working currently?
Mr. Chair, yes, the system is working, but the software itself, it's an aging software. Some of them are not supported by the manufacturers. So if you look at the upcoming CIP, we have budgeted those CIP program to update the software.
Okay, thank you. A couple more questions. One is just a housekeeping question. In the background on this staff report on page 5, and I forgot to speak to you about this. We had a panel that consisted of the wastewater division manager, the wastewater maintenance manager, the water division manager, the water operations manager, reviewed the submitted bids and determined Vertec to be the most qualified bidder based on experience and expertise. If we have a panel such as this and they review it, I'm guessing it comes down to a vote. If we only have 4 people on the panel, how do we address a tie? Or do we then bring in more expertise? How does that work? Because I didn't see anybody from the purchasing department here.
Mr. Chair, in this case here, it's unanimous. They're all voted. So if, let's say, in the event that it would have been a tie, we could invite the Public Works Director or myself to be the next person, but it appears that it wasn't even close to be a tie vote.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. That was kind of driving me nuts here. A separate side question, but having to do with this particular item, we talk about the 10 drinking water wells that the city has, and my question is, are all the wells in operating condition, and do they operate? Are they all working? Can you give me a little bit of an update on that one? And then I only have one more question after that, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair, yes, the city has 10 wells, drinking water wells. They are all operational, but normally on a normal day, they don't come on at the same time, and it's all based on demand. So if you look at currently today, I would say that probably not all 10 of them are going to be operating because of the weather, and last week it could be. So it's all based on the computer and the operator set it, and how would they react to the customer demands.
Okay, and as a member of the city council and a resident of the city, I'm really glad to hear that they're all working. At one time, we had several wells that were non-operable, and it's very good to hear, Mr. Ng. Credit to the Public Works Department, the city council, and the management for having that. The one last question I have is with respect to the contract. Under section 15 of termination, there is a line that says the consultant may terminate this agreement at any time with or without cause and without penalty upon 30 days prior written notice. If that were to happen, what is plan B? Who is going to take care of the SCADA system?
Mr. Chair, our plan B is that in the upcoming fiscal year budget, the divisions did ask for a SCADA manager, which is a new position that would set the tone for the future. So our long-term planning is that we would like to have this type of a maintenance services, I call it SCADA, to be more in-house rather than call-out services.
Okay, to me personally, that sounds good considering the cost of these contracts and having our own staff. Again, thank you very much. I have no other questions. One final time, committee members, you have any questions? Any more? If not, I'd request a recommendation.
I'll move the recommended action.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Member Flynn,
Aye.
Member McDonald,
Aye.
Chair Perrello.
Yes.
The motion to approve carries 3-0.
Okay, on this next item, in consultation with the city attorney, I will have to recuse myself because the landscape maintenance district that I live in is one of the items that will be semi-addressed. So I will be stepping away from item number 2, and I will not partake in the meeting. So I defer to the mayor or Councilman McDonald, whoever wants to run it, but I needed to make that statement. And so I'll step away now. Okay?
And Mr. Chair, this is Tara Mazzanti. During the discussion of the item, if you could please just put your microphone on mute and someone can let you know when we're finished.
Okay, doke. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm putting it on mute now. Bye.
Okay. Councilman McDonald, Committee Member McDonald, would you like to read number 2 or take over?
Not really. You can have it.
All right. All right. Okay, let's go to item 2 under Public Works, the subject approval of a third amendment to Agreement A-7950 with NBS Government Finance Group for Assessment District Services. The recommendation is that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to, number 1, execute a third agreement to agreement number A-7950 with NBS Government Finance Group in the amount of $509,650 for a total not to exceed the amount of $1,010,765.42 for ongoing administrative services, community outreach for landscape maintenance districts, and formation services of community facilities districts, and to extend the term from May 31st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. Number 2, by appropriation for various LEs and CFDs 6 North Shore as detailed in the financial impact section. And we'll go to the Public Works Director, please.
Thank you, Mayor and committee members. My name is Jerry Cooper. I'm the project manager for Special Assessment Districts. Today we are looking at the NBS Government Finance Group third contract amendment. NBS has provided services to the city for many years now, initially starting with a contract in February of 2017 that for maintenance services for our landscape maintenance districts for their levies and budgets. In May 2018, we did the first amendment to bring on some additional on-call services for budget preparation and specialized services for advising additional districts. In January 2019, we did a second amendment to this contract, which was a prevailing wage requirement. There was no contract value change for this particular amendment. In the summer of 2019, we did begin speaking to underfunded and utility-capped landscape maintenance districts. As you may recall, in 2017, the city engaged in a study that ultimately showed there were a number of districts that had exterior improvements that were seen as a general benefit, which had to be removed from the districts because of a liability to the general fund. And so the city did take over those particular districts. And then utility capped districts. We have a number of districts that within their formation documents, there is a specific utility cap percentage that can be raised each year for utilities within that district. And then additionally, some underfunded districts that have had their maximum assessment met, and we would like to look to convert those into community facilities districts. So we've been talking to those districts and doing some basic community outreach. With that basic community outreach, we administered a survey to a number of residents within these LMDs regarding the services that they'd like to see, some better improvements throughout their neighborhood, and ideally what they would like to see if they could have all the bells and whistles within their districts. MBS in the fall of 2019 developed a collaborative governance report that detailed out all of the findings from that initial public outreach. And overwhelmingly, the residents that were surveyed detailed that they would like to see an increased level of service, some additional information and interaction from the city to the district residents, and they wanted to have improvement within their neighborhoods. This third amendment for the NBS contract will do a number of things. One, it will allow us to do some additional focused community outreach. We are looking at, for each LMD that is going to be engaged, we're looking at 3 public outreach meetings for each of those LMDs in an effort to teach them about what a community facilities district is, what it can provide to their neighborhood, and what the steps to move forward with a CFD formation would be. And then CFD formation to, after that community outreach, for services for non-bonded CFD formation. We've also requested additional funding for continued budget support and development for this fiscal year, and services for new formation of districts that are coming online here within the city of Oxnard, so brand new community facilities districts. And we'd like to extend that term through June 30th, 2022. We've also requested a budget appropriation for a number of these districts, as the initial community outreach was not budgeted for in fiscal year 1920. You will see that a number of these districts within the financial impact may or may not have appropriations requested. Sakioka Farms is a new CFD that is being formed. North Shore CFD 6, we are looking to do a reformation of that CFD, as the original CFD formation didn't really meet the needs of the city. So we're going back, we're looking at that before that development gets underway and they start to build, so that we can have an appropriate CFD that makes sense and is very supportive for the city. And then the first list of landscape maintenance districts that will be engaged through public outreach for a variety of reasons. A number of these are underfunded, and those districts that had exterior improvements removed. And so you'll see initial funding in that budget appropriation for $5,000. Additional funding will be budgeted in fiscal year 2021 for the remaining contribution of the fiscal impact. So we are asking for the third amendment for $509,650 with a not to exceed of $1,010,765.42. The spending plan for fiscal year 1920 is approximately $137,500. The budget appropriation of $80,500 is required to meet services that we plan to engage for the remainder of the fiscal year. And then we have budgeted in fiscal year 2021 for additional funding to support the community outreach and CFD formation. And with that, I will answer any questions.
Thank you very much. I wanted to ask the city clerk if there are any speaker cards on this item.
No, there are not.
There are not. Committee member McDonald.
I have no questions.
I have no questions either. So what is the desire of the committee?
Well, I guess since I'm the only one here, I'll move the recommended action.
And I'll second it. Madam City Clerk, the vote, please.
Member Flynn.
Aye.
Member McDonald.
Aye.
And with Chair Perrello recused, that gives us a motion carrying with a 2-0 vote.
Very well. I guess we can have Committee Chairman Perrello come back now. It says he's left the meeting. I don't know if he... There he is.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, thank you, Councilman McDonald. Okay, the next item on the agenda is items for future agendas. And do we have any suggestions by the committee members?
I have none.
I have none.
I'm going to ask this Public Works because it happened over the weekend, and again, it's happened this morning. On 8th Street, this morning, there was a wrecked pickup truck that obviously He, through some shenanigans of some kind or other, he's parked sideways on top of the curb and the median in the city of Oxnard with the front wheel torn off and the front end of the car wrecked. And over the past weekend, there is another car on Vineyard Avenue that's appears to be a hit and run, and is pushed up onto the curb and the median. And I was wondering, what is the policy of, is it a public works issue? Is it public safety that we leave these wrecked cars on the public thoroughfare? Because I am concerned, it looks bad, but number two, if somebody else runs into it, are we on the hook for that? The second question that I have is, again, this has become because of the beach area, is being brought to my attention very, very vociferously that there are certain blocks of neighborhoods where there are no parking signs, and there doesn't appear to be rhyme or reason of these no parking signs. And it has nothing, the sign does not indicate because of street sweeping or trash day. And I'm wondering, how do we find out what was the original intent of allowing the no parking signs to be put up in block 1, not in block 2 or block 2, 3 or block 4, but also in block 5, for example? Those are my 2 requests. And
Chair Perrella, this is Rosemary Gaglione, Public Works Director. When there's been an accident, it's a public safety issue to remove the vehicles. We don't want to go in, and we don't know if they're done with whatever measurements or things that they're doing. So Public Works would not be going in and getting those vehicles. As to the no parking signs, we'll be bringing that up and explaining actions that were taken to reduce the number of people on the beaches.
Well, I thank you very much for the one about the accident. This has nothing to do with the temporary no parking. I totally understand that. I appreciate the activity of the city in trying to deal with that. This is signs that are permanent. They've been there for a few years. So I'll get back in touch with you. But do we have one last call for the council members? Anything that you want added? If not, we'll adjourn the meeting. And I, again, would like to adjourn it in recognition of our city attorney's new grandson. Welcome into the world, and glad he's here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.